This week's episode of the Deckchair and Yumz podcast brought to you by Jimmy's Cars. Connor, obviously we know that one of the biggest problems in the world right now, it's not the ongoing pandemic, the impending financial crisis globally, or the fact that the Tories were lying about everything they said during lockdown.
Of course not.
It's the fact that Jimmy Carr told an offensive joke on a special called Dark Material. Well, thank fuck that piece of shit's being cancelled. So now Jimmy Carr is selling cars. If you want a second-hand piece of shit. Oh, fuck, I just thought of a better one.
Dark colours only.
Yeah, he's actually opened a coffee shop called Holocaust of Coffee. They serve everything apart from Jews. Should have thought about that more. Play the intro, fuck it.
Oh.
Yeah, what's up, motherfucker? Yeah, what's up, motherfuckers? You're very welcome to another episode of the Deckchair and Yumz podcast.
What an episode?
It is our 100th episode.
100, ladies and gentlemen.
We're on the big 100. We had planned, obviously. You piece of shit.
Christ, you fucking bastard, scared the shit out of
That
me.
fucking cunt. I knew he'd done something.
Oh, my heart. Oh, that's not good for a fat man, James. I'm gonna fuck him.
You're a wanker. That piece of shit there was like, leave the door open. I have to take a phone call. I was like, oh fuck, James isn't well. He's getting bad news, and he just had it come in there holding on his dick too. Fucking hell! You have to clean that.
What the worst thing is, right? I knew about it.
Did you?
And I scared the shit.
How do you know about it?
Because he told me, and I'm still scared the fucking him.
See, old Mick didn't even fucking blink.
I wasn't expecting the bang to be the gat.
You forget, James, I grew up during those fucking Troubles adverts. When you jumped around there, all I could hear was a fucking father and son playing.
And the cats in the cradle and
Goodbye,
this
da.
is fucking. Well, I'd love to see the slow motion of that because that's a very scared fat man.
Yeah, I
behind a load of colourful.
I wish we'd have known
confetti.
we could have filmed it from that angle because he looked adorable. All I saw was James jumping around the corner with a big silver dick, a big massive one. I thought I knew it. I knew he was packing heat. Didn't realise you came paper. Who do you think you are, me? That's what it's like whenever I ejaculate with psoriasis.
After you've been doing colour.
Except it's only one colour. Like.
Well, there you are. So
So there we are. That's
James.
the big special fucking room of tea ruined.
That is
Carpet ruined. That's still my hair.
We have acknowledged the 100. Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday. Congratulations.
Congratulations and cheers and to the Sandwich Co. who don't sponsor us but just feed us with coffee.
Don't even get the orders right, haven't they? This is probably just water in a tea bag.
Still fucking charges for it, you know. Yeah, but anyway, don't worry.
Nah, tea's weaker than fucking Jimmy Carr's excuses.
So yes, 100 episods we have.
What a journey!
What a
journey!
What did we find out? I thought it was a couple of
Get
months
that off
ago.
my fucking
Look at
shirt.
that, you're on here. Oh, you're
Christ
flaking
alive.
everywhere. I'm constantly rubbing you.
Oh hell, sure. We're taking him home with some. Well, it's not psoriasis. I'm just a clown.
Ta-da! Yeah, so for something that started at the Empire Comedy Club smoking area when we thought...
Yeah, do you want to do a podcast? It's like when you meet your actual best friend. Like, do you want to be best friends? Yeah.
Well, I was like quietly going, fucking yes, I do. But yeah, we genuinely thought it was going to be until you went to Australia. You were going to Australia.
Yeah, thank God for COVID.
Only here, listen. If it wasn't for COVID.
Swear to God, if it wasn't for those lockdowns, the other lockdown, the next lockdown, the lockdown after that, and then lockdown 2.0, and then lockdown 2.5, and then lockdown 2 Boogaloo, and lockdown Get Harder. Look who's locked down now. I can't believe it's not a lockdown. And fucking lockdown gluten free. I don't think this podcast will still be going. It is funny how we just sat down one day and went, I wonder if we can talk for an hour. Because that was what the first one was. And we were like, if it's shite, sure, we'll just not put it out.
Yeah. And then it's the evolution of it.
I was going to say it's spiraled out of control, but it's very much spiraled into control. Like, do you know what I mean? Our patrons class. Yeah. But it's exactly where it was a year ago.
Yeah, it hasn't moved. Yeah.
I was going through my taxes last week, being all, fuck, I have to pay tax now because this bastard podcast.
Yeah, it hasn't jumped that, you know.
I mean, it has. It's been I've
great,
loved every second of it now, to be completely honest with you. And by the way, I am doing shows this week. I just want to do this at the top. That's okay.
Okay, yeah.
I forgot what it's like to do a podcast and be gigging.
I know.
So Thursday night, I'm in Poggoglies in Belfast, and on Friday and Saturday, I'm in the Imperial Bar in Bangor. I just realised that those two shows in Bangor are sold out, so I'm just bragging.
Nice.
There's no point in telling you because you can't come.
I'm up in Lavery's on Wednesday and Thursday, so you have a choice of Deckchair and Yumz on Thursday night. But I think the timings are a wee bit.
I think I might be emceeing Lavery's. I'm not entirely sure.
There may be a Deckchair and Yumz on Lavery's on Wednesday night. Get your tickets anyway. Wednesday.
Yeah,
and
come on
Thursday.
down for the crack. I might even just go down to If I'm not on, I'm just going to go down and hang about. Just to be around comedy, because I'm at that point now. I'm just like, I just want to drink it in. Just want to laugh. Now that the January blues is out of the road, I'm back to writing jokes. I'm like, oh Jesus.
So yeah, we thank you to all our patrons. I mean, if all our listeners
went to Patreon,
we'll
get that already, no problem.
We would. Well, I could leave work.
Yeah, and we don't want that. We'll have to find a new studio.
But could you imagine how? Do you imagine what the output would be like if we were at this full time?
I want this full time once a week's killing me.
Well, I'm not. I mean, we can be doing live shows. We could be doing daytime shows. Loads of stuff.
We could take over the airwaves.
But no.
Maybe get a legit radio show. Hi, you're welcome to the Deckchair and Yumz radio show, sponsored by Prozac, Ozac.
Yeah, and we've survived 100 episodes with no sponsorship, apart from every week we have a different sponsor.
Yeah, of course.
Well, actually, every week we do have ads. I think it's Spreaker puts ads on at the start. I didn't realise that when we listened to our podcast.
Right,
there's ads at the start. And do you know what comes up quite often? Weight Watchers.
Bastards.
Dirty cunts.
Fucking stinking hers.
I don't know if that algorithm is just designed for me and they're trying to sell me Weight Watchers, but
also
Weight Watchers before
it's not even called it's called WW because you can't tell fat cunts to lose weight. Yeah. So I'm triggered, to be completely honest with you. I think it's a fucking disgrace. Everybody knows I'm plus size. I've got a dad bod, but my dad's Caitlyn Jenner because of the size of my tits.
Yeah, so Weight Watchers and the British Army were the two ones that I
well, that's probably because of me.
You know, really.
You know what I mean? I'll flat foot. You know what I mean? There's no way. Imagine me getting in the army.
Although the good thing is, I mean, nobody has to flick on there's no ad. You know, some podcasts will have ads on and you're like, oh fuck, here's an ad now. So you have to go.
That's why I was always glad.
Is it 15 seconds or 30 seconds every
15
time?
seconds, yeah. I was always glad that whenever I started paying for Spotify to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast exclusively, just the Joe Rogan podcast, all I listened to. Mm-hmm. I was always glad that I'd paid the membership so that I could fast forward through it. But now I've withdrawn it because I do not support anybody who supports Neil Young. Do you know Neil Young was in a swingers club?
Right.
And he would quite often be standing at the swingers club with a bowl full of keys, and he would look around and see who was there. And there'd be a guy in his 20s, and he would go, "Young man, take a look at my wife." The young fella would be, "Oh, just Neil Young, she's not bad at all. You're not so young yourself, though, are you? You should call yourself Neil Owl."
Oh, Neil Young.
No, Neil Young used to, before he was a famous musician, he would go door to door selling cutlery. He'd quite often come to his house and be a guy in his 20s would go, "Young man, take a look at my knife."
So we can establish that you know one more Neil Young song than I do.
I can't think of a third word around your wife, though. Tell you that right now. I can't think of another one. Strife. How do you look at strife? Life, wife, bife. No, nothing. Bife.
It's like we're like fucking playing Wordle here.
Yeah, that's another craze that I think I haven't got involved in. I'm too busy sitting in the house watching VR porn. I went and saw the Jackass 4 last night.
Yes. Well,
I'm 35 next month. It's juvenile and it's people hurting themselves. I've never laughed harder in my life. I have never in my fucking life. I was black girl laughing. Like I was going, ah! I made a show of myself in the cinema. I swear to God. But I think people were getting annoyed.
At one point.
Yeah, people were getting. I was like, "Don't go inside the house, Montail. He gonna get you. Get that white girl out of the house." I don't think I have laughed harder in my fucking life at the amount of time people were just getting hit in the balls. Every time.
It is, as you say, it's childish and all the rest, but it is so funny.
It's so funny.
It's a slapstick comedy thing, isn't it? Like it's always going to be there.
There's one where, like, at the start of it, so they have Aaron McGeehee, or I think should be just called McGee, but you know what Americans are like, and Wee Man and another guy, like one of the new ones, and they're all standing like with their feet on either side of a stick with a flip flop on it, but it's attached to a gas thing, like a pneumatic piston, and Johnny Knoxville has buttons, so it's basically like, I'm going to ask a question, if you get it wrong, I'm going to press a button, but before he asks any questions, he just hits a random button, and one of them just gets hit right in the bollocks with a flip flop, and it's the speed of it, it's like whoosh. And it's slow. They'll do a lot of things where they'll slow it all down, and you see the flip flop just like whoosh, and the balls fucking.
But can you imagine the pain of that?
Man, the opening shot of it is they do like a sketch of like Godzilla attacking Tokyo, but it's Party Boy's dick dressed up as it. So they've zoomed in, and initially you don't really realise it's a dick and balls until they zoom out and realise he's lying underneath. Now, too much dick in it.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean? And you feel very inferior. Party Boy and Steve-O have big old soft cocks. Like, I don't know what they're like when they go to full show.
A lot of wangs.
A lot of big old dicks in it. Like,
right.
You do find yourself going, that's an impressive knob.
No.
That is an impressive wiener.
I'd be depressed.
But by fuck, I laugh my head off. I fucking hell.
I haven't watched. I mean, this is the first one since it's been what?
10 years. 10 years
yeah,
because that was at the start of it. I think there's a point where they mentioned that in Jackass 3, they had a montage at the end going through like this, like even Wild Boys and the first stuff they done for MTV. Because the third one, they were like, we're never doing this again.
Right.
And then it's come back, and I mean, when you look at them 10 years ago, you're like, because I think a lot of them haven't aged that badly. Until you compare it to 10 years ago, right, and you go, fuck, yous are old men. Like, you should not be doing this.
Well, that is the thing we were talking. I mean, Johnny Knoxville
shits his pants at one point. Everybody starts boking, laugh, and they weren't boking in COVID masks. Fucking hysterical.
Oh, fucking hell.
Like, vomiting and a fat man shit themselves, still refuse to do that. For legal reasons, I'm guessing.
But Johnny Knoxville must be 50. He'd be close to it, wouldn't he? He would be.
Bound to be, yeah.
Like, they're fucking the proper age. Like, they should be at the point where they're retired. They should be training the new version.
Well, I think that's what's. There's a new cast in it where.
Right, okay.
There's a guy who I remember following him on Instagram called Zackass. Big fat guy called Zach something. And he doesn't even do funny stunts. He just hurts himself. Like, do you know what I mean? Just takes a fucking fluorescent light bulb and smacks it off his willy or something. Like, something you're. The kind of thing where you go, ring his ma and tell her to hug him. Because he's going to end up dead. But I sat in that cinema and fuck me, I howled.
There's nothing better when you get something like that, because you know that even though you know you're going to watch a comedy, you just don't know how funny it's going to be.
One of the other ones, Party Boy, right, puts his willy in 2 bits of glass and then tightens them with a bolt so his dick goes completely flat between 2 bits of glass. But he's got a wee. Do you know those wee games where you have the wee ping pong paddle with a string on it? Johnny Knoxville just bats a ball with his cock for ages. It's fuck. Harlan. Steve-O tries to light a fart underwater. So you see Steve-O's actual gaping anus. At one point, still howling. He puts at one point to get a guy. I don't want to ruin this for anybody, but go see it. Go see it. Like, at one point, they strap a guy to a chair and cover his dick and balls with honey and salmon and let a bear in the room. Just put a fucking bear in. And every time he moves, they shock him. Like the guy has an electric shock collar on. So they set it up like we're going to do a lie detector test, and every time you tell a lie, we're going to shock you. And then they just fucking set a bear in, and then they keep asking him questions. So I think at one point he must have said at some stage he was allergic to bees, so he didn't have to do anything with bee stings. And he's like, "Yes, I am." They're like, "Dang." He's like, "I fucking am allergic to bees. I told you before. The doctor told me." Next thing, a bear comes out. He's shitting. It's proper shaking. The bear's eating salmon off his balls, and Johnny Knoxville's going, "Are you allergic to bees?" And he's trying not to freak out, so the bear doesn't freak out.
Oh, fuck.
Very funny. People licking tasers. There's a bit where Steve-O and 2 other ones do a mime act, and they play a game of like you're not allowed to make any noise. So a girl licks a taser, gets away with it. Another guy tries to kiss a fucking python that bites him in the face, doesn't make a noise. Steve-O, they put a Steve-O skateboard in a guillotine. He sticks his shins through it and they drop it on him. He just goes, "Fuck!" Like, and it was hilarious.
The pain of the
fucking
thought
hilarious.
even of it. Okay, so
Johnny Knoxville genuinely nearly died, so don't do that at home. Like, bow, wow, wow.
Right.
He gets hit by a bull.
How they survived, I do not fucking know. I mean, their medical bills must be fucking through the roof.
Well, it was
you'd wonder how they get insurance for that. They must sign serious waivers to say we're not going to sue the film company or something. Yeah,
because I seen it like obviously every Jackass movie, Johnny Knoxville's doing something where bulls run on him, and in this one, the bull hits him, and he does like a more than a 360, so maybe like a 720 flip,
right,
and then cracks his head off the ground, and they eventually get the bull away, and when they run over, he's just like he's fucking out.
Jesus.
But they put him in a stretcher and a neck brace and all, take him in an ambulance, and he's cracking jokes like, "Is the bull okay?" Like,
maybe.
So it's
paid to do.
I know it's worth a watch. Do you know what I watched as well yesterday? Did you ever watch Don't Fuck with Cats?
Yes.
The Netflix documentary. So the woman who's made that has made one called The Tinder Swindler.
I've seen The Tinder Swindler, but I thought it was a movie.
It's an hour and 40-minute long documentary.
Okay, right.
Fucking great.
Actually, when I seen The Tinder Swindler, I thought, fuck me, what a shit name for a movie.
I thought The Tinder Swindler, was that not the girl who plays the High Priestess in Doctor Strange?
Tilda Swinton.
Thank you.
Close.
Fucking hell, I always get them two mixed up. I always get them mixed up. It's a great. I just watched that yesterday morning, eating a bagel, just like fucking bastard. Of a guy who just pretended to be a billionaire. It's basically Catch Me If You Can.
All right, okay.
But real life.
Deadly.
Pretended to be a billionaire, managed to get a load of girlfriends to sign up to credit cards and all these different things. So he would basically use one woman's money to pretend to another woman that he was rich.
Right.
So she would take all of these credit cards.
It was like a fucking pyramid scheme.
Like a Ponzi scheme, yeah. And then he would go to the next woman, pretend he was rich off this woman, and then eventually go, they blocked all my cards because I'm in trouble with some. I think at one point he said he was a diamond dealer.
Right. Okay.
Of course. And he was like, my competitors are fucking doing all this mad shit. People trying to kill me. Can you lend me money?
Wouldn't it be wild effort?
He got caught. You know what? He did 5 months in jail, and now he does talks on how to make money.
Of course he does.
And the women that, because technically speaking, he didn't do anything illegal. He just convinced people to lend him money.
Right.
The banks are still making the women who took out these loans pay it back. One woman owes $250,000.
Jesus.
Which is insane how she was able to just keep borrowing things. I think he would send fake pay slips or whatever that she would use
to get the credit.
Right, okay. And crazy. And also it makes you go, a bit of me was like, what a legend! Like,
well, that's what I mean. Yeah. If you could, well, I mean, Catch Me If You Can. If you've never seen it, go and see it. Tom Hanks, Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah. Frank Abagnale is the guy he plays, and then the FBI, because he was so great at forging documents, whether it be checks or started with checks and moved on to like degrees and stuff. Yeah. But because he was so good, they hired him.
Yeah.
So he spot fake checks. For the FBI with the spotting the forgeries. Yeah.
It's a fascinating look into the criminal underworld. Oh, I think at one point. One of his girlfriends got wise to it. She'd been with him for like 1.5 years, and I don't think he borrowed money off her at this point.
Right.
So she was just like, I'm going to fucking ruin your life. So went to meet him in some country. And was like, listen, we're going to sell some of your clothes. You had all these designer clothes. And she was there with the intention of, selling all the stuff, but giving him fucking no money for it.
Right.
And at one point he was in a plastic surgery place trying to get all this facial reconstruction. And the plastic surgeon was like, so the only people who want this are criminals. And she was like, but because she was trying to sell his clothes, she didn't go Eminal Cra Odd Fra Ilsta Anima, which is of course Swedish for cunt. So I thought, she sold all his clothes on eBay, and bastard. You're like, fucking fair play to you, daughter. Fair play, didn't you? It just shows you what a haircut and a fake passport can do, because he went from being a wee weird looking Israeli guy to a bit of a ride.
Like the effort it would take to
aye, it was better than working on the call center.
I was going to say, if that's your full time job, I suppose you could put the effort in, but it's just
you couldn't sleep.
No,
do you know what I mean?
You would be on edge.
Because I always think if you did something like that, imagine she was like my big brothers in the Ra, you'd be like, oh fuck,
here, look,
they're gonna take my thumbs.
Can I do a payment plan to pay you back?
Oh, you wouldn't. I'll work for you.
I'll take that red diesel. Where do you want me to take it?
No, whoever needs tuck.
I watched that Murderville on Netflix, which is it's fucking brilliant. It's just
going to lube up. Sorry,
gonna get in there. It's improvised murder mystery, like a murder mystery dinner party, except it's being there's a different guest every episode. The first one's Conan O'Brien, and it's fucking great because
it does look weird. By the way, when you were saying murder mystery, I'm rubbing my hands together like I've got an evil plan.
Who we're going to take out next? If you get a chance to watch it. It's very good. It's the improvising is what really got me, because not often I would laugh by myself, but there's times when, I suppose, when you try and get yourself into the context of, right, these people don't know what's coming at them next. They know they've got 3 questions they're allowed to ask, but they have to deal with Will Arnett. So Will Arnett is from Arrested Development and
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Turtles, is he that, does he? And he would have voiced Batman and Lego Movie and all that guy. But he is fucking brilliant. He is so in character. He plays a detective, and then each guest has to come along with him and improvise these scenes. There was somebody on called Annie Murphy. Now, I don't know what she does. Maybe someone could check and see. Annie Murphy, go and check and see there what she does. But she must be, I don't know if she's a comedian or she's
What do you call the girl from Community? It's a spit of Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway? Alison Brie, no? She in Community, she's a nerdy.
I can't remember. I haven't seen Community. I've only seen a few episodes, and I keep thinking, is that Anne Hathaway? She's the fucking double of her, like.
No, she doesn't really look like that. Oh, the blonde hair?
Yeah.
All right, yes. No, it's not her.
Very attractive. Don't like Anne Hathaway though.
No, well, I wouldn't really turn her away now.
I was back on the road, back on tour last weekend, and
sure you were indeed.
I would like to make a quick public service announcement, just from what I've learned in this last week, because I think the world is definitely back to normal now.
Right.
Because people are taking coke at comedy gigs again. And this is a plea from your Uncle Mick. Please don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't waste the drugs. Don't be in a situation where you're like, come on, we'll take a gram and go and sit quietly in a room for 2 hours. That doesn't make sense.
No.
I was in an undisclosed...
You need a dark room, lights, and loud music, and then coke is in.
I was in an undisclosed city on Saturday night that rhymed with Londonderry. And 4 people in the front row. Not that I know the signs that somebody's taking cocaine from experience. I'm not saying that. I wouldn't know anything about that. Just the size of me. I clearly don't take drugs. Look at me, fat bastard. But it's not the most discreet of drugs. I've found when people are taking cocaine, especially these days when it's like it doesn't seem to be arrestable.
Yeah, it's not all social.
Yeah,
there's good stuff.
Yeah.
No, you get a wee bag of social.
But then it's whenever you're sitting still on a bag of Colombian marching powder.
Yeah. Escobar's private fucking stash.
When you're on fucking can't blink dust. Fuck me, it can ruin a gig. Like and they might be listening to this. And if you're one of the fellas who's taking coke in Derry on Saturday night, fuck you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, thanks for the money, but don't do that anymore. Have a couple of pints.
Is it even worth the money?
Take it afterwards.
It's not worth the money.
The show itself is it's
no, I mean, it's not worth having their money to put up with them being there.
Yeah, it was being
you'd rather have that for them not there.
And again, it's like when you're watching people in the front row, although they're being as discreet as they possibly can, you can see everything about it, and I can hear, Davey, go and get your keys. I go out to the car to get... I've left something in the car. Go and give me your keys there, and give us that wee bag of coke. So I'm going to take coke in your car. Even though you're whispering it, I can still fucking hear it.
Oh, man.
Because cocaine doesn't make you discreet in the sense that they're trying to talk over me so their mate can hear them.
Yeah.
So I mean, the funny thing about urban food, and they're like, oh, fucking Kieran, hey, go on, get that fucking tiny wee knife there. Can I borrow your pinky fingernail like in the movies? I'm fucking jonesing for a bit of
like
snuff.
Like Grandpa Bucket.
Aye.
You remember him?
No. From Charlie
Chocolate Factory.
Was he a cokehead?
They found a photograph and that he had done the wee.
No way.
Oh, aye, he had fucking filed down the wee pinky fingernail so he could do a wee bump.
Do you think maybe then if that could be the Easter egg that makes that entire movie through his eyes?
Yeah, it could be.
Like he's still just in bed.
He's in bed.
Fucking
he doesn't even have a grandson.
Aye. Charlie, fucking I'd love some. I'm fucking telling you, hey, I came out of the fucking, I went in that factory all night, fucking orange midgets, hey, and I don't mean Protestants, I mean they were fucking, like they drank too much tango, walking about singing songs, hey, fat cunt fell in the chocolate river. Okay, Uncle Bucket, or Granda Bucket, okay, where's fucking Charlie now? I can't find him. He was in a glass lift with a paedophile last time I seen him.
He came out walking all wonka and all.
Right, it's because cocaine makes you really wonka. That's where it came from.
So Grandpa Bucket, yeah, there was a photograph of
fucking
Phil, and they zoomed in on the big fucking pinky nail.
Class.
Scooping it out in between takes. Yeah, there it is.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Can I get my glasses? I don't have glasses.
Yeah.
You need to stop taking coke. Can't see a fucking thing.
But is it a thing? I mean, we do know. I'm not going to get. We're not going to get to the
just on the topic of people's weird nails and drug use. Edward Scissorhands, loved it. Yeah, he was always cutting heroin with baby powder. Well, fuck, there you go.
He was, yeah. Here, don't talk to me about fucking when he was in the hash.
Captain Hook. Loved his gear.
Scissorhands and hot knives. Fucking hell,
yeah.
He could do 3 ounces.
They actually had it was going to be Edward Spoony Hands, but then the censors got involved. They were like, "This is going to promote heroin use."
Hot knives only.
Yeah. Hellraiser. He couldn't find a vein.
Do you remember?
That's why.
Do you remember hot knives?
No, I never done a hot knife.
You ever done a hot knife? Oh Jesus!
What? Does he just put the hash on a knife and light it?
No, the knife has to be hot first.
That's what I meant.
So no, you put it on the cooker.
Oh, right, okay.
Just red hotly.
Shit.
And then you put it on. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no, I'd be afraid of setting my beard on fire. The closest I've got to a hot knife, did I tell you about this? My papa, my good man, showed me how to sharpen a knife with a lighter. Right. So if you get a lighter with it has to have the wee wheel on it. You just run up and down a kitchen knife and it'll sharpen it for you.
Jesus. I bought a knife
Works
sharpener.
I was going
I don't know what a fucking clipper lighter would have done it. So
in fairness, it doesn't so much sharpen it as just take lumps out of it and make it into like a saw type of situation.
Yeah, correct.
But I'd say this, once I was cutting sweet potatoes like nobody's business, even from a bad wee hand. Which is, yeah, tush! Knife is sharp as fuck, sir.
I got one lamb the other day, a Japanese cleaver. You know the proper for... oh my sweet lord. You talk about...
I honestly thought a Japanese cleaver was a sex move that nobody talked about.
No, or Chinese cleaver. Or just an Asian cleaver. No, I think it's Japanese.
No difference if you ask me.
But when it comes to cooking, there's a big difference.
Oh, why, of course. Because it's harder to get the Japanese ones in the pot. Bit taller.
But no, I bought one then because, it's very versatile, Mike. Very versatile.
Like waffles?
As in cut the fucking thummy.
Aye.
One wrong sweep and I was like, Jesus, need to put that back in the cupboard.
What are they called Japanese cleavers in Japan?
Cleavers?
Actually, creevers.
I didn't think you were going to do it. I didn't. 100 episodes in, I thought, right? There's no.
Tell you what,
way
for the wickets, I definitely shouldn't pretend. I shouldn't pretend to be racist anymore because I don't think anybody understands that you're only joking.
Yeah, they don't get jokes anymore, as we found out this week.
Poor Joe Rogan.
Poor Jimmy
His second apology video in fucking 8 days.
You never apologise, Joe. Never apologise. You don't poke the bear.
Unless you do. You can. I think you can apologise if you're from here. You can go fucking wild. Sorry, I didn't think of that. I didn't mean that like that.
I mean to the mob that comes after you. Like there's no satisfying. There you are. I was all over.
That's that place.
That's where you get
posh people go on their holidays. We just had a lovely holiday in the Seychelles.
There's no satisfying the fucking the culture, the cancel culture.
So what I've heard is now I haven't seen the video he's talking about, but did somebody basically cut clips of him using the N-word on his podcast?
Somebody went, and this is the thing, I mean, like,
that's dedication.
We know, well, here's the thing, we know the crack here just from the practical things of, well, we don't know, but James and Jack know, of getting videos and looking through them and finding clips. Somebody had to, and this is the thing, Joe Rogan has thousands of hours.
Aye. So you're talking 12 years, like?
Yeah, so somebody has, now, I keep saying somebody, it's not one person, there's a fucking team of people.
It has to be.
Had to go through all them to find where he said that word in order to get it out. But now, in all circumstances of the clip I've seen, they've all been taken out of context. Aye. They don't provide a context. They just see him saying the actual word.
Yeah.
Without going, well, what was he talking about?
I think what people kind of don't understand is, and I remember this happening sort of 10 years ago or so, there was a point where the N-word, now not using it with impunity, but the discussion about the N-word became such a big thing in comedy.
Yeah.
Because I was watching Talking Funny this morning before it came out. And there's a point where Louis C.K., I know we shouldn't fucking fuck him, but ginger bastard, ginger, baldy, fat bearded fuck.
No, I wouldn't even say that. He's just a dirty bastard.
Well,
simple as that. And I don't say nothing against gingers.
I'm not even.
I say nothing against fat men. I say nothing against funny fuckers. All I say is against dirty bastards. Shouldn't be allowed.
Man like to wank apparently anyway. But there was a point in that where they were talking about the N-word, and Chris Rock's talking about it, where I think he stopped saying it in 1996. Yeah, I think shortly after he did there's black guys and there's
niggas
N-words
versus niggers, yeah.
That
sort of
thing, yeah. You said, oh my god, you said it, oh my god, you said it. Yeah. You say that'll be taken into context and you'll be in trouble now. Yeah. But yeah, that well, I remember there's a clip of Richard Pryor saying he's do you ever see the Richard Pryor clip where he went to Africa and he was like, I don't say niggers?
Never gonna say it again, yeah.
And he's like, I'm never gonna say it again, I'm never gonna call another black man.
I've used it quite a lot in
rallies and meetings and stuff.
Yeah, well, usually meetings.
Aye,
but it's I use it when we're talking about travellers. So whenever we're doing cultural awareness training, so we would say to them, listen, somebody saying gypsy is the same as somebody saying nigger.
Yeah,
you know, you need to get the context of the both are not liked by the community you're talking about. Plus, that community can use the word, but you can't. Yeah, and it's the same thing. But people. I remember
having a discussion with my dad about it one time because he's just a man of a certain age, right? Yeah. But I've noticed this about my family recently, and on my dad's side, there's a lot of years between like my dad and the next brother, and then that brother and the next brother, right? And the eldest brother, I remember, could not get on board, just fucking couldn't get on board with gay people. Didn't hate them, but he just couldn't fucking wrap his head around it. Mm. The next brother after that cannot wrap his head around transgender people.
Right.
Just you tell me, just can't fucking get his head.
Right.
And my dad's in this weird thing sometimes where he can't really get his head around why can't you say that. Mm. And so we were having a discussion one time, and he was like, talking about the N-word, and he was like, I don't understand why, it's just a word, why does it hurt people? I was like, trying to explain the context, well, it's been used as a weapon, it's been weaponized by racists and blah, blah, all the stuff that we all know. And he was like, but why can't you say it? And I went, well, put it this way, we're Irish, your name's Paddy and my name is Mick, and if an English person called you Paddy and you knew he didn't know who you were, you'd be fucking fuming.
Same thing.
And it used to happen to him in building sites in England. Oh, Paddy!
Yeah.
And he go, what? I've told you this over haven't I? The foreman was like, if he calls you Paddy again, tell me I'll break his fucking jaw. And he was like, no, my name is Paddy. he doesn't know what.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been talked about for, I mean, you're talking decades and stuff, but it's just back to that thing about content. Again, somebody could go back to my earlier statement there and take it out and say it's different, you know. But Chris Rock was always a good one apart from that bit he used to do, but always about the Dr. Dre bit. You know, can you say it? If it's in a Dr. Dre song, and you go, yes, if it's in the song. Yeah. That's not when you ad lib extra stuff on the end of it or whatever.
That became a kind of...
And you don't dive into it like deep.
It was almost became a hack joke about 10 years ago where the joke was you can sing it.
Yeah, it's so...
Or you can go like, but you can't.
Yeah.
I used to have an old joke about Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. Where we would just... When we were kids.
Yeah, everybody.
But the joke I had was I thought catch a nigger was one word.
Right.
And I had this joke where I go, I thought Catch Nigger was like an ancient Irish folk hero. Like, I'd hear a story about Finn McCool and Catch Nigger finding a magical talking salmon. Like, we were just singing it and we had no fucking idea what it was.
Yeah, same, yeah. I don't know when Tigger came in. Tigger came about then, you know, especially in Mia's age. So my daughter is 2004. Like,
that's old.
She has never heard...
Just spelled Tigger.
Good man. She would never have heard it anywhere. Before, so it's definitely a 21st century thing.
All right, I think we should leave these here. It's very handy, sir.
I know two people in Noma, right? That's their nickname.
And they're not even black about you?
No.
Yep.
They're not even they're not even mixed race. They're just happen to be sallowed skin.
Yeah, Vittorio Anzalone has a bit about how his dad was called the N-word in school growing up in Northern for being Italian. Yeah.
We have two people I know of. One passed away, unfortunately, but yeah, both of them had that. Again, back to that thing about nicknames. Nobody gets to choose their own nickname, so they never had a choice. It was just given to them.
There's definitely a weird thing that, like, I think a lot of people don't take it into consideration. Where, like, I remember, like, I don't know if you two are the same, but younger than us, but I remember, like, it was perfectly fine to call a dog Darky.
Yeah,
because it was a dark dog.
Yeah,
nothing to do with
nothing to do anything else. Yeah.
And there hits a point where, like, because people didn't give a fuck about their dogs, they just saw what they seen.
Yeah, Snowy was the other one because it was white.
Yeah, Cracker, Honky, that was another dog I had. No, I'm joking. But you know, you get to that point where you're trying to explain to somebody, usually of a certain age, you can't run about the street shouting Darky. Why not? The dog needs fed. You need to call it something else. Call it Joe or something. But
there's nothing more. I'm the same. My dad is. It's unreal when you have to bring up subjects, but I do it sometimes just to annoy him. You know, when I'm correcting him when he says that a man can't get pregnant. You want to see the older generation just when you're arguing to them, going, "Men can get pregnant, and they can't get."
How the fuck? I know. I wonder what's going to be our thing. Like when we're in our 60s, what's going to be our? Listen, let me tell you, you can't just. No. Do you know what I mean? When are we... We're going to be sitting there with a VR head. We're going to be sitting there with a VR headset wanking over with somebody else's dick while a woman who's not getting paid enough pretends to have sex. Listen to fucking... Like my back, my pussy, and my crack going, listen, I don't care what. Just say, protein pills are not food.
Like 30 years' time, we could be sitting arguing going, well, why can a paedophile not work in a creche? What is wrong with that? That's where that's where we're fucking going at the moment. That's where it's taking shape up, unfortunately. Don't take that clip out of context.
Just clip that one bit. Not even me laughing. If I can get a supercut of me being like that.
Well, fuck knows where we'll be in 30 years' time.
That's something I always think about. I think it's one thing that I try to stay progressive. No, I don't try. I am progressive. But I always think back to, like, when people complained about Elvis.
Yeah.
Like, this is the devil. And I'm like, maybe it's not their fault. Maybe they were like, what the fuck is this? Because they're all just used to, hello, my baby, hello, my honey, hello, my...
It's just, I think
I miss the days when music came with a violin and you could punch a woman.
But do you not think that I think sex caused a big problem with that? Because the biggest reaction to Elvis at the time was his gyrating hips. It wasn't the actual music. Yes, he was a white man doing black music, but
it wasn't the marrying a child or anything.
Marrying a child or not, correct? No, it was just don't thrust your fucking hips by.
Keep that lip in your pocket.
But I mean, Elvis came out to warn parents when the Beatles were coming.
Yeah, you know
what I mean.
It's
so
weird.
It's a weird thing that there's always that. So you've got. We talked about it last time about the book burners. Like you've got a lot of that fucking shit going on, and it's happening. It's happening on. It's weird because To Kill a Mockingbird, for instance, is now classed as a book that should be banned.
No way, really?
Yeah. So you're like, hold on a minute. I can't.
Are mockingbirds endangered?
I can't keep up. I think it's something to do with the. It might even be to do with the special needs character. What do you call him? The Boo Radley.
I'm thinking of a Mice and Men. Same thing. Same idea. Not really. But
not really. Or I don't know what the. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that out loud. Actually, I don't know what the reason is for it being cancelled. I just do know that it's being cancelled, and it's the progressive liberals who are cancelling it. And so it's a weird thing that they become like the book burners, but then they also should be the ones who are more accept. I don't know. It's very hard to understand.
One thing that I think's a minefield at the minute is when I was younger. And this is probably this is one of these ones you can cut this out, and it's like, oh fuck. In fact, even saying this makes me go, I am officially an older man now. But when I was young, black people were called black, and they didn't like being called coloured because they're like, no, we're owning blackness.
Yes.
And you go, right, good, grand. So you got black people, Asian people. Now they're all in one big group of people of colour.
People of colour, yeah.
And I have to retrain my thinking to go, fuck. I thought it was the same with like queer.
Yeah.
And I'm good, they've owned it. It's the same with the N-word, black people have owned the N-word. That's great. But I'm just thinking, is that going to change? If that changes again in my lifetime, I'm going to go, no, I'm fucking done.
When will we ever get to the point where it's just another human?
That's the obviously
that
is obviously how you think.
That sounds like. I mean, it's just a case of, well, there's another. I was going to say there's another man, but can we say that? There's a fellow human.
Aye. There's a person with a name. Christian name. No, fucking not that.
Name, no. Can't say first name. I don't know.
Do you not say first name?
I'm just joking.
Oh, you can't say first name because it's too binary.
Yeah. It's too elitist.
Because second place is important too.
Preferred
name. There's your runner-up name.
Kamala Harris is a good example, where again the media and not the media, but people just in general would say she's African American, and I'm like, no, she's not. Like.
She's not Indian.
One of her parents is Indian, the other one's Jamaican. So Jamaica's not in Africa. So to call somebody African American,
just for being a bit black,
just for being black, that's completely bad. I mean, you've got the Caribbean countries, loads of them, countries that have moved people, emigrated to America, but they're not African American.
So but it's easier than saying Afro-Caribbean Indian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I every time Kamala Harris comes up and we talk about race, I always think about that one joke a mate of mine made. Or like, congratulations to Kamala Harris for being every single member of the So Solid crew in one person. Because when she was like, we've got the first ever female black Indian Mexican. Like,
you couldn't tick any more boxes. But no, I don't know. I think it's getting a wee bit like the Jimmy Carr thing at the moment.
Jimmy Carr thing's the one that's weirding me out because the special's been out since Christmas.
Yeah,
that's taken 2 months for it to kick off.
If back to the thing I always say about we're watching a fucking movie, it's like, who's timing this or who's going, or do you think somebody on Christmas Day sees the special and goes, oh, that would be a good distraction?
Aye.
We'll save that for when we need this.
Yeah,
they put them in the back pocket and go, well, there's one we definitely could use, there's another one.
Yeah.
Or how, because as you say, the timing doesn't, like same as the videos being released at the parties. They were there for 12 fucking months.
We're going full JRO on this one.
We are going just around. It's our 100th episode. They were there for
fucking right. Take us down and see if I give a fuck. Please don't.
I don't do that.
I think I was reading an article this morning and it was David Baddiel has come out and slagged off Jimmy Carr for making the joke. And what was the joke? I think the joke was something along the lines of people forget about the thousands of...
Millions of
I think it was only did he say thousands?
Oh, they say
thousands of Romani gypsies and things that were killed in the Holocaust. And then the joke is no one looks at or focuses on the positives or looks at the positives, something like that. Yeah. And you're going now. I've seen a few people going, is that him highlighting the fact that never forget that a bunch of people who weren't Jewish also died in the Holocaust?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it the fact that Jimmy Carr's entire act is a juxtaposition of here's a man in a suit, looking very polite, very middle class, saying the most horrible things anybody can think of. That's why it's funny.
I'm going to be very controversial here, right? And I'm going to self-proclaimed expert in this field.
Okay,
right?
okay.
When it comes to Travellers, because I spent so many years working with them, the thing is, and the reason why that joke worked on that night is people fucking hate Travellers.
Yeah.
And they don't want to admit it now in this new fucking woke scenario, but I'm only talking 5-6 years ago. People fucking hate Travellers, and it was the one thing in this country where the Catholics and Protestants could come together because they fucking hate, you know what I mean? And there's that thing, and in my work, I was working this from 2003 until around about 2009, 10. And all the way through that, I kept saying to people going, just think about what you're saying.
Yeah.
And imagine it's a black person.
Aye.
But they couldn't. They just hated them so much. So that joke was well received because people in the audience probably fucking agreed with it. That's the problem.
That's a very good point.
That's the real problem, is he knew which community that could be used for, and that the people will go, "I fucking right, get rid of them." You know,
I did. That's a very good point. He's never made a joke about race because he knows full well.
You know, but you will get support for Travellers / Gypsies, and that's the thing. You know, and it's changing here. But it took a long fucking time. Now the South are a lot further forward than we are, even though we were the first to get ethnic minority status for Travellers here in the North through the Good Friday Agreement. The South didn't get it until maybe 2007 or 2008, something like that. If maybe even later than that. So like we were way ahead.
Yeah.
But again, they never got the fucking support that they had. The people just did not like them. And I always would have said to Travellers, listen, you've got rights, as everybody has, you have human rights, but you've also got responsibilities. Yeah. And we all do. And I kept saying to them, I was like, fucking jump in the queue in traffic whenever you want. Parking wherever you want. You know, doing all these things. People aren't going to fucking like you for it, you know. But they are of the opinion, well, we're not part of the system. So we don't give a fuck.
I remember, like, I used to have a joke about Travellers, and it was really, really early on in stand-up. I can't really remember what the joke was, but I know it was fucking shite, right? I might have told this before as well. I was doing a gig one night in Lurgan, and told this joke, came off stage, and one of the other comedians was like, mate, there was like a bunch of Travellers standing at the end of the bar, heard all that, and I was like, fuck, I need to go home, right? And this is where like this is where it all fucking blends into one big mess, right? Because my initial thought was they're going to kick the fuck out of me. The other comedian was like, don't worry about it, they've left, and I went, they're away to get more Travellers, right? Because again, that's the fucking shit you've been taught.
That's the mindset, yeah.
And I was like, fucking hell, I'm gonna get my fuck kicked in because I made a joke, and then I was going, ooh, the fuck, that's only a joke. Do it in my head. I'm like. And obviously I never want to cause offence when doing stand-up, and even then I've never wanted that. I went up to the bar manager, I was like, listen, I'm really sorry about that joke. People have left the bar, and the barman went, fuck, I don't want them in here. And I was like, I'm never telling that joke again. Because it was that point where you go, my own sort of, I'm forgetting the word for it, but the predilection? No. Is that a word? Like what I thought about Travellers was they're going to beat my fucking... Yeah. And then a barman was like, I don't even... Prejudice, that's the word I was looking for. The barman was like, I don't even want them here. And I was like, fuck, we're all... Because the fault of that was me. I did tell a joke that was frankly fucking...
Yeah. Oma gets away, but still, Oma has a blanket ban on Travellers in the pubs. Now, again, try and put that into context and say, right, the pubs in Oma have decided to not let any black people in. Yeah. Imagine that. Yeah. Like, you imagine the fucking... That's the way it is. And the problem is you've got because Travellers are quite tribal in that sense, and the generations stay in the same area sort of thing. So you've got younger lads who are just turning 18, want to go for a pint, can't go out because their uncle fucking wrecked the bar 10 years ago. Like, well, that was the thing I was going to say. If I was not allowed in the pub for everything my younger brother did, I wouldn't be like,
you never get anywhere, That was what I was going to say, was that the article I was reading this morning, so it was David Baddiel, first of all, was getting torn to Jimmy Carr. And a part of me was going, what the fuck does David Baddiel do apart from complain these days?
He's definitely he's a spokesperson. Like,
do you know what I mean? But fair enough. He's a Jewish guy, so he's obviously the Holocaust for him was like a fucking don't go near subject. But the next person was, I always forget his name, the guy who was in Big Fat Gypsy Wedding.
Oh, Paddy.
Is Doherty?
Jeez, Paddy Doherty.
Yeah. So Paddy Doherty was coming out and then was asking for the police to get involved and investigate it. And I felt myself going, but people only know who you are because of a show called Big Fat Gypsy Wedding. Yeah, and this where Channel 4 exploited, in my opinion.
Well, here's the thing. So there is a difference. So you've Irish Travellers and you've Romany Gypsies, two separate entities, hard to tell the difference sometimes, but you will find that obviously Irish travellers will be in Ireland, but in England they're mostly of the Romany Gypsy background.
Right. Okay.
So there is a that's why when I say about Gypsy and the N word, the correlation, that's in Ireland.
Right.
So over there's people quite proud to be a Gypsy.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a difference. Even though Paddy Doherty does have links to here, and he does have his family links will be back to this way. It's he would see himself as a Gypsy.
I have like traveller blood. I'm rated the ward somehow.
Oh, good man. Oh, Jesus, the word, boy.
So I found it very offensive that Jimmy Carr was making the joke.
Jimmy, I'm killing you stone dead. I'm killing you stone dead, Jimmy.
I'll tarmac your fucking hair back on, you cunt.
Oh no, you just got racist there, did you? You just got racist there. You bring a tarmac. What'd you bring tarmac for?
Why'd you bring tarmac? I have loads of it here.
Tarmac for? Well, traveller doctors need it.
I know you're never going to do it. I wish you would tell that story.
No.
Fuck me, it's the one time when you hear of a traveller doing something and you go, fucking right. Fucking fair play to you.
There should be a fucking play written about it.
My God, that should be a movie. I swear to fuck. It's like that bit at the end of Snatch where Brad Pitt gets his own back and you're like, fucking good man, Brad Pitt.
Yes, no, we can't talk about that.
Oh, it's so good.
High court says so. That's how far we went. It's high court. It's not even a local court. It's a fucking high court.
It's a fucking shame. It's a shame no one knows. Fuck me.
But yeah, so I mean, but again, back to the Jimmy Carr actual joke. Maybe he was trying to highlight the fact that there were, because here's the thing that's always been talked about World War II. The figure of 6 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a big discrepancy.
A massive discrepancy because that's 10%.
Yeah.
So there was 60 million humans killed, but 6 million Jewish people were killed. But then you have obviously the Czech.
Well, the thing about it is, but even with
then you have Romany and all that.
Aye, but even with I remember learning in school that it's between 6 and 9 million.
Right, even more than.
So they don't even know. Like there's a 3 million discrepancy of we fucking no idea how many people died in these camps.
But I think it's, and I don't think Jimmy Carr, I genuinely think it was my reasoning behind it. I think it was an easy target and a target that everybody would get on board with, as opposed to, let's educate the people that there was more than just Jewish people killed. And you know what I mean? I don't think you thought that level of it, the layers. But yeah, maybe it is getting people talking about, oh fuck, I didn't realise so many gypsies were killed at the time.
I just think if that tax avoiding bastard ends up getting the rest of us fucking having to watch what we're saying.
Well, I think we're all in that boat. I don't think it'll ever come to the north. I mean, get us as fucked if it ever goes past.
We're all fucked.
His back catalogue.
We're all fucked if it ever comes. Like,
yeah, absolutely, we would be, because.
But at the same time, too, it's something.
No, we're not. I think are we not a bit more aware here because we're a divided society? We're a bit more aware of what can, like, we know how to start a row. Yeah, doesn't mean we're going to do it. Like, you could walk into a bar and start singing one song or the other, whichever song you'd want to, and depending on the community, you could start a row. Yeah, just by singing a song.
But I think there's that kind of.
Do you ever think Tina Turner ever goes, "What happened? Simply the best." How did that turn out?
Was there not something about? Did she not find out about that? And she was like, "Oh, brilliant!" And then found out what the crack was with the sort of associations with. Orange Order and all, and she was like, "Oh," and then was kind of like, "But they're buying it, so."
Did she?
There was something.
I always wondered, did she ever like go, "Why have I got so many streams around the North Island?"
I do think it is weird that you're like, whenever that song's used in it, you know, from a sort of sectarian point of view, and broadly speaking, in a. From some very intolerant people, and you're like, you're singing a song by a black gay icon at a parade, and you're all wearing wee frilly sashes.
What I don't get about it is it just because, like, here's the thing. So I know obviously every side of the community has different songs that they adapt or whatever, and I know in the past, Tiffany's, I Think We're Alone Now, is the one, We Hate Catholics. You know that song?
No, what was that? No. I'll say this much.
We hate Catholics. Everybody here fucking hates Catholics.
I'll say this, right? I genuinely find that loyalist parody songs are fucking brilliant. I don't care what anybody says, but would you like to try a cheeseburger? Bobby Sands is a fucking classic. And I don't give a fuck what your religious beliefs or political beliefs are. It's hysterical. The bit in Would You Like to Try a Cheeseburger, Bobby Sands, where the guy goes, "Well, you're not fucking getting one, you smelly fiend fucker."
I never heard that. I need to go on.
Have you never heard? Never heard. He's like, "Would you like to try a cheeseburger, Bobby Sands?"
Oh, no way. So that's what I mean. So they've taken an existing song and then changed the words around. So they did that, but Tiffany's fucking Think We're Alone Now. They did it with Sloop John B from the Beach Boys. It's basically an anti-famine or a famine.
Right.
And so again, they took that melody of Slip John B and then change the lyrics. But Simply the Best isn't changed. It's just
it's the whole way through, yeah.
So what is it? Just because it was played at Rangers Stadium, or I don't know where the origins came of Simply the Best being.
I reckon it's probably something to do with the TV show Gladiators. It's like Another One Bites the Dust. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
People just hear it and go, "That's brilliant."
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I know. I've thought about that so many hands. Thinking, why is Tina Turner and Simply the Best? Because they don't change. Not that I know of. Maybe I'm pretty wrong.
Is it because Catholics call Protestants black bastards? They've seen her and gone, "Well, here, fair's fair." Isn't it, Cecil? Is indeed, mate. Big foam hand.
I think Tina should come to the north and bring us all together and do Proud Mary.
She should retire, though.
Come back out of retirement for the peace process.
Proud Mary.
For the peace process.
She only half the crowd like that too, wouldn't it?
As long as it's not Proud Holy Mary, you're all right.
Aye, and she'd have to obviously get somebody to sing that bit at the start, because I can't do it because he was busting her lips all the time. Do you know that? See,
left a good job down in the city.
Proud Mary, that is, and a lot of people will know this, that is one of my favourite songs. Like, I could be outside talking to somebody about, like, and then the fucking car hit the family and the whole thing exploded and not
left a good job.
And I'm like, I have to go, right? And I'll be in dancing, right? But it does haunt me every time I watch it. When at the start of it, you hear Ike Turner and her being like, sometimes we do it, sometimes we like to do it rough. And I'm like, did he make you say that? Like, there's times I'm looking at my phone going, Tina, blink twice if he's still in the room.
Yeah. Because that part's definitely not an original.
Yeah.
That's Tina Turner, and I added that into it. Like, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, that's why I listen to the original only, because there's no Ike involved.
I just listen to the Creedence version of it now.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's
Did Creedence do it first?
John Fogerty, yeah.
Is that a Creedence Clearwater
song? Yeah.
Or is it? I don't know why I had the impression at some point it was some sort of like almost like a fucking shared song among. Like
No. John Fogerty, who was the main songwriter for Creedence, did it? Yeah.
No, it's a belter.
What was the other one he did that nobody really? Oh, Rockin' All Over the World.
Fuck off.
John Fogerty, Creedence, yeah. Everybody thinks it's status quo.
Every time I hear Creedence, I just think of Vietnam every fucking time I hear them.
Yeah.
Burn down. Burn down. Take that, Charlie.
Son.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, go listen to John Fogerty's album, Premonition, live album from 1997.
Okay.
I used to fucking play that over and over, and the amount of lethal Creedence that's on that.
Class.
Live and done fucking
It wasn't Creedence died in the car, it was fucking
Leonard
Skinner.
No, was it playing? No.
Plane crash, that's what I meant to say. Because they're still going, aren't they? With a new...
Sorta, yeah. Fucking Sweet Home Alabama's where they took a
that bit in Con Air. I guess it's fucking weird.
A wee bit prophetic.
I wouldn't say pathetic now, it was alright. I watched it finally. Do the bit in Con Air where they've taken over the plane and they're singing Sweet Home Alabama, and someone's like, do you not think it's fucking ironic that we've stolen a plane, no one really knows how to fly it, and we're singing a song by a band that was killed in a plane crash?
No, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about the version about I hope Neil Young will remember Southern Man doesn't need him around anymore.
Yeah. Neither does Spotify apparently.
No.
Is Neil Young up like the South? Is he a wee bit
No, Leonard Skinner Sweet Home Alabama is a very racist song.
What?
One of the most racist songs.
But it's so cute.
I know it is, but sure, that's
what's racist?
That's why they do it.
Because it's Alabama?
Well, they're talking about, we don't want things to change. So Neil Young was talking about the things needed to change in the South, about segregation and stuff. And he's like, Neil Young just used to...
Are Creedence racist now?
No, not Creedence, Leonard Skinner.
Leonard Skinner. Thank fuck I did in the plane crash.
They've always been a bit dodgy. Like. Well, they would have Confederate flags and would have been their thing at the time and all that, correct? So...
Then like Dukes of Hazzard too, I mean.
But you don't see fucking...
Them skinny boys better grow some wings.
You don't see Sweet Home Alabama been taken off the fucking Spotify?
Aye.
No. That's because somebody in the record
Reese Witherspoon was in a movie called Rights.
And I bet you Joni Mitchell's fucking raging that she took her music down before realising that Ricky Gervais had used it in Afterlife.
Aye.
She hadn't made money in years, she would have made a fortune.
Is it still there? I checked the other day and Neil Young's still on.
Well, Joni Mitchell's down anyway. She's gone. Neil's Laughlin's away too, like we talked about last week. Nobody give a fuck about it.
A scene. This is off topic, but and again, we could probably discuss this off air. It's not really that big.
It's our 100th episode.
I know. We're not even going mental. I saw the new Matrix the other night.
Mental, isn't it?
What a fucking. Not to get. If anybody listens to this, you know we were dabbling in conspiracy theories. And
just the old time.
The fight scene on the train in Tokyo where all the bad guys were wearing masks made me be like, fuck's happening here? Absolute pile of dung of a movie though.
Pure dung.
Started off class. initially I was like, it's great to see the gang back together.
I was going to say at the start, you're
great
like,
to see what's going on.
Oh, I like how they done that. I like how that. And then you're after a while, you're going, okay, hurry up the fuck, what's happening?
They must have ran out of a budget by the time they got to the end, because that scene at the end, not to ruin anything, where it looks like 1999 CGI.
Yeah.
And you go, what happened, lads?
The budget was, the lastminute.com.
Yeah, and then to hear the machines use the word sheeple.
Yeah.
I was like, lads, at least try and keep it in the same fucking vein as the other ones.
Yeah, very colourful. Suited 4K and HD and all that crack, but yeah, it was like, fuck me.
It was a long
to the point, actually, I don't know, I said to you, I might go back and watch it again. Just because I don't know because I didn't know what to expect when I went into it. At least now I know, right, I'll pay attention, but I don't know if I can do it again, that's the thing.
I think the fight scenes were shit. I think, now obviously, Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss are older now, so they can't do as much flag kicking, wire fighting. But all the fight scenes seem to be in a really, really tight frame, so you couldn't see how shit it was.
You would have been too young. You didn't see The Matrix in cinema, did you?
I seen the second and third one in cinema.
Yeah. The first one you wouldn't have seen. Whenever that first time, because nobody knew what the fuck it was.
Aye.
Like the reaction in that cinema was like, "What the fuck is this? Aye. This is there was none of that in this. Yeah. There was nothing new or groundbreaking. Or it was just a rehash. Yeah. It was like,
it was cake.
Yeah,
it was pure shit.
Stay away. So, Deckchair and Yumz recommends stay the fuck out of the Matrix.
Yeah, man.
And don't watch the film either.
Just take the blue pills, man. Just take the blue ones. Keep your dick hard. I think we'll go for a piss and then go over and do some questions. When we on Patreon?
Yeah, we're going to do. Well, I mean, we didn't. I mean, our 100th episode is always. Do
you want to just make us a big long one and do the questions now?
Bit of a downer, isn't it? I mean, it's.
We didn't plan. I remember with all these, like, we'll do it drunk, we'll do it fucking stuff. I'm back on the road. You're back gigging. You fucking things to do. I mean, that was great. That was a belter. I haven't done that before. It was a screamer.
I think they're fucking Hoover right now. Sure. I mean, well, okay, so...
just keep your dick out of it this time, you had a pervert.
So you're on the road this week. Pogs, I'm in Lavery's.
Yeah, I'm knackered. I'm too old for fucking doing stand-up again.
When's your next tour show?
So we're in... Yeah, I've got the Imperial in Bangor this Friday, Saturday. I think next week I'm in Oma on the Thursday.
Oma, by the way, sort your shit out.
Sort your shit out.
Get the fucking tickets bought. What is going on?
Yeah, so it's one of those ones where I'm like, I might not do that.
It's a Thursday fucking night. There's nothing else on. No, what are you missing out? I know it's the Arts Centre, but don't worry.
Come on down to fucking crack. I'll stay around and go to McCann for a little sloppy fucking fluffy pints.
Well, you stay in my house, sure.
Oh, fucking. Are you doing anything that? Do you want to open on Thursday?
Might do. Now, I have to prerequisite this by saying I'm on respite there, 15th, 16th, and 17th. So it might be a wee bit.
Yeah, it's grand. You can just eat crisp and talk shit.
Herbalized.
Oh, that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
That's grand.
I might be trying to be called around and have a wee.
You know, it's a proper stoner when you're planning a week in advance, going, "Oh, I can't wait till next week."
You're going to do fuck all.
Yeah, there's nothing to get more excited about doing fuck all.
I love doing fuck all. I love doing fuck all. Oh my god.
Oh,
do you know how much I love doing fuck all? I can't even enjoy a bath because I feel like I'm doing something. I mean, if I'm in a bath, I feel like I'm having a bath. I'm like, fuck this, I'm getting out.
That's an activity.
Yeah, there's times I love doing fuck all so much. There's times I'll go for a shite and sit there until I need another one.
Do you not get the fucking dead legs?
Aye, even that's fucking. You're like, oh, even my legs will give up.
No, do you ever get that one where you've sat too long?
Aye, and one foot goes and you're all, you can't put it on the ground.
You have to, and Emer was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "How long? A minute." I can't walk.
I sat in the lid of my toilet seat last night to put a sock on. The thing broke in half. So
you sat in to put a sock on, or you stood in to put a sock on?
I sat on the toilet seat.
You sat down on the toilet seat. Why would you sit down in the toilet seat?
Who puts their socks on standing up?
But why would you sit in the toilet seat to put them on?
On the lid. I was in the bathroom.
Why not do it in your bedroom like any other fucking normal person?
Because I have to put my wee creams on my feet. I don't like tramping fucking steroids all through the house.
Oh, right, okay.
So I sat down, did my wee creams.
I'm sorry. I forgot.
You don't know what it's like to be disabled, do you?
You're a psoriasis warrior. I don't know what it's like to live that life. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm just trying to live my truth, Connor. So the truth of the matter is I put on a bit of weight, obviously, because I sat in the toilet seat, the fucking thing broke in half. And I wish I could say something cool like my ass has learned karate, but no. And I think maybe it gave way, maybe it gave up, because I did have some high fatty foods over the weekend and there was a lot of shit in them. Maybe the toilet seat.
That could have been the one. Maybe
the toilet seat maybe just had enough, maybe. But personally speaking, I just feel that I'd like to raise awareness for big holes. And if you've been affected by any of the issues in this podcast, please don't message us because we've enough to deal with. I need to Google how to put a toilet seat back on and buy a new one.
We're usually preoccupied wiping our hole.
I know, that's the thing too. Like, I might go sit in an empty bath because it doesn't count as a bath.
That's probably the best way. Just lie there. Yeah.
Do you ever lie in a bath and think I wish I had a blanket in here? Remember that? No.
Always, every time, I don't know why it's stuck in my head. Steve Wright. Or Stephen Wright, whatever you know.
The comedian?
The comedian.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to lie in the bath and put the shower head on to pretend I'm in a sinking submarine.
I was like, what do you call that other guy?
That stuck with me I've heard that when I was in like first, second year, and I think of that every time someone mentions a bath, I just think of the sinking submarine.
Every time somebody says Steve Wright, I always think of, and I always forget his name, the guy with the glasses, long hair and the beard, who has the joke where he goes, I used to do drugs, I still do, but I used to too. What do you call that guy? Died of a heroin overdose. Around about that time when all the comedians were dropping dead. Bollocks. How can I not remember that guy's name?
Fucking annoy me too. I can see him.
Looked like Kurt Cobain.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Answers on the postcard.
Thanks for listening. Happy 100th.
Deckchair and Yumz HQ.
Well done. We're going to jump over to Patreon now and answer some questions. Look after yourselves. Buy tickets to gigs.
Don't take coke at gigs.
And don't take coke at gigs and never sit in the toilet seat. Was that here anything less? Would that be the...
I think out of 100 episodes, I think that is the key
Mitch
thing.
Hedberg.
Fucking
Thanks,
good man, James, because people would have been tortured us with
I'd have been
fucking 300 fucking Mitch Hedberg.
How do you not know who Mitch Hedberg is? One of the big comedians.
See the connection.
I know.
So yes, thank you for listening for 100 episodes. To anybody that's new,
And here's to 100 more.
100 more.
Unless one of us gets famous and doesn't need the other one.
Aye.
Aye.
Or what's more likely, one of us has a heart attack. So yes, on.
I could be either one. I don't know. I was a dermatology on Wednesday. Right. This is a doctor said this to me.
Right.
She was going through my wee bloods and stuff, and she went, okay, lungs, oxygen, great, lipids, white blood cells, great. Liver, perfect. And I went, screenshot that and fucking send it to me. Do you know what the doctor said to me? I'll tell you this real quick before we go. So I didn't realise the tablets I'm on for my psoriasis. Sorry, psoriasis update. We should get a wee thing there where I hit a button and says psoriasis. And then I go. I walked in and the doctor, because the medicine I'm on, basically, I have to... If pregnant women can't take the medicine I'm on, right?
Right, okay.
Or
pregnant men.
Or pregnant men. And I'm not allowed to donate blood for 3 years after I stopped taking them.
Right.
Because
I'm not allowed to donate blood either.
Really?
No.
For needles?
No.
Oh, you know it? Oh, because... Oh, wow.
No.
So I knew all this just from like reading up on the meds I was taking, right? But I didn't realise that if you're a cis male... If you want to have kids, you should notify a doctor about it just so they can take you off the medicine, swap it over something else, right? So I walked in and this doctor was like, so I'm just looking here, you're on these tablets. And I'm guessing you're not planning children anytime soon? And I went, what do you mean by that? And she went, you're wearing a Cobra Kai t-shirt. Swap the NHS. Anyway, thanks for listening. See you later. All the best, baby. What's up, motherfuckers?